College baseball. And to speak about his father, please welcome Phil Elson. So, Phil, we saw some of the stats about your dad up on the screen as part of that 1967 team that just got inducted into the Hall of Fame a little bit ago. He was Pitcher of the Year, 1.57 ERA that year, and some of the marks that he's had during his career still stand here at Queens College in terms of baseball history. So with such a great history in the sport, your dad mentioned to the folks here at Queens College that he considers his family to be a baseball family. So let me ask you, what does that mean to you, and what do you think his baseball experience at Queens meant to him?
Well, baseball's a family sport to begin with, I think, as most sports are. And I think if you look throughout his life, baseball was introduced to him by his father. He tried to get him to be a Giants fan, but he refused. He learned how to throw his curveball, which was his best pitch, from his mother, which seems a little bit unique, I think. And if you take it further on into his life as a father, he introduced me to the game of baseball. Baseball was a family experience, whether it was at games of mine or games of his, as he still pitches even at the age of 70 years old. Still real hardball, and still throws that curveball with a little bit less bite than it had in the 60s, just a little bit. But it's, I think that his experience at Queens College is something that it stayed with him till now. That's why he still pitches. And I think we'll get into, the next question will deal more about, what the game means to him than the statistics. Maybe even more so than the experience.
Why do you talk about that?
I learned from my father about how to handle your life. I work in sports. I'm a sports broadcaster. I do baseball, play-by-play, basketball, football in Arkansas. I work for a Division II school called Henderson State University, and I've wondered ever since I've been doing their football games, what does make it yours mean? That's the motto for Division II athletics, is make it yours. I think he taught me what make it yours means. And I don't really think I appreciated it until I opened up that program here, and it says make it yours there, and it made me think about this. He taught me and my sister, and I think a lot of other children that he's impacted in their lives, to do what you love. Do what you have passion for. Find those things. And with him, it's a lot more than one thing, or two things, or three things. Whether it's baseball, whether it's theater, whether it's family, those things that you feel you have passion towards, and that you have interest towards, and that you have excitement towards, there's a reason for that. Do something with that. And I, without question, took that to heart, because I do what I love every day. And I think that most of the athletes here, if they're still here, the student athletes would appreciate that too. If they don't understand what make it yours means, what you're doing at Queens College as a student athlete is exactly what that means.
Well, very well said. And Howard, you couldn't have thought of a better person to be your front man up here for you. This guy gets it. Well, thank you very much, Bill. We appreciate you coming up and talking about your dad. And let's congratulate Dr. Howard Elson, our newest Hall of Famer for Queens College.
Dr. Saraceni for allowing me to do the 13-minute version of my speech. I will, for the sake of time, withhold the song. Just kidding. I want to thank China Jude and her staff, and to the Hall of Fame Induction Committee for this great honor. I want to thank also to my teammates, many of whom are here tonight, for fielding all those hot smashes I gave up, turning them into outs, and making my induction possible. And thanks to our opponents from 50 years ago, players from Adelphi, Hofstra, LIU, Fordham, St. John's, and others, for swinging at all those curveballs in the dirt. You too were instrumental in making this possible. After half a century, my memory may be a little shaky, but more importantly, I never let the truth get in the way of a good story. So here goes. Those of us of a certain age may remember when Saturday Night Live first started, and Garrett Morris played English-impaired Dominican baseball player Chico Escuela, who knew one sentence in English: "Baseball been very, very good to me." Well, baseball been very, very good to me too. From the days my father took me to the Polo Grounds to watch Monty Irvin and Willie Mays, to the Saturday night dates Robin and I had at Old Shea Stadium, to the days I took little Phil and baby Lauren to Old Three Rivers to watch Willie Stargell and Bob walk. From Little League in Forest Hills through Pony and Colt League, I was a catcher, nicknamed the Lasagna Kid, because my mother would buy me lasagna if I hit a home run. To becoming a pitcher at age 14, because I could throw a curveball, but couldn't hit one. And won the only 6 games Forest Hills High School won in my junior and senior years, to playing for Queens College and Doc Tierney, a good coach and a great man. In my junior year, 1967, we won the Knickerbocker Conference Championship, a first for Queens College, and I was named Conference Pitcher of the Year. The All-Stars were invited to Yankee Stadium to be honored, and Yankee broadcaster at the time, Jerry Coleman, welcomed us and asked us who had signed contracts to play pro ball. Nobody raised their hands, because Jerry Coleman had asked the wrong question. He should have asked, who is going on to medical school, dental school, law school, or graduate school? And a lot of hands would have shot up. We all harbored dreams of playing in the major leagues, but we also knew there'd be even more realistic accomplishments in our futures, certainly in mine. One is, I'm still pitching.
Yes!
29 years in adult senior baseball with 7 national championship rings. Here's one of them to show for it, including the over 65 national championship 3 years ago. Next week in Phoenix, I pitch in the over 65s, and a week later in Fort Myers in both the 65 and 70-year-old divisions. I'm only 69 years old, but the 70s allow one underage player. I'm a rookie all over again. I'm also very grateful to Queens College for a wonderful education that at the time cost me $34 a semester. Bernie Sanders is right. But most of all, I will, as fast as I could. But most of all, I'm grateful to Queens because a few weeks shy of 50 years ago, November 11th, 1967 to be exact, after weeks of furtive glances and frank stares, I found the courage to walk over and talk to the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen, who 4 years later became my wife, and this December 18th 2 children and 4 grandchildren later, these 2 Queens College alumni, Robin and I, celebrate our 46th anniversary. We are a baseball family, a sports family. Our son Phil is the radio voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks baseball, and our daughter Lauren, a great high school volleyball player, is married to my son-in-law Dan, who is the Deputy Athletic Director at Oregon State University. And now, thanks to them, I have 4 beautiful grandchildren to play catch with. Baseball been very, very good to me, and Queens College has been an enormous part of it. Thank you for this honor, and thank you for everything.